Hi, my name's Glenn Hasselman. Just making this video for the free accounting software users. Lately I've been getting a lot of queries about what's happening when the Oz key retires um, on the 31st of March. So first thing to point out, it is the 31st of March, it's not the 1st of March. So we've still got a month and 3/4 to go, which is plenty of time. On the time frame, the other thing to note is that the new version of the machine-to-machine or OzKey, which is called Machine Credential now, only became available in late November. So I've actually been using it since late November to do lodges and trying it out. And throughout December or early part, it actually wasn't fully stable. I think about 1 in 3 lodges was failing me. That's resolved, or the ATO's fixed that, and it's perfectly stable now. So look, we're right on time really with this changeover. I could have released a version earlier, but what I wanted to do was actually release a version with actually quite a lot of improvements over the existing one. So now, don't panic. I've got so a lot of people have been panicking. I've even had people thinking that I'd have to shut down the business or something, which is ridiculous. We've been going since 2004, lodging electronically since 2010. This change is really actually quite minor. As I said, the only really reason that I've delayed a little bit um, on this upgrade is to actually put a lot more features into it. The idea being to give everyone just one upgrade to do, rather than give them a little upgrade to fix the OzKey issue and then later on a larger one. So this upgrade I'm doing will move us from Java 8 to Java 11, and I'll show you a couple things about the upgrade later on. Okay, so the first thing I want to show you is how is this going to work with this new machine credential. So the ATO has produced a guide here on how to install a machine credential. So you can just follow the steps in that, and you'll be right. I'm going to sort of walk through it, although I have done a lot of these steps already. So yeah. Anyway, so the first thing you need to do is create a MyGov ID login. Okay, so you download your machine credential from within MyGov ID. So you'll need a MyGov ID login, and you'll need to use your MyGov ID login when you log into the ATO systems or other government departments. That's not something you don't use your machine credential to do logins like you use the OzKey to do logins. So the first thing to do is there's a website called authorizationmanager.gov.au, and I'm just going to open that up. The full name is Relationship Authorization Manager. The URL is just called authorizationmanager.gov.au. Okay, once there you have set up your MyGov ID login already, then you click Login with MyGov ID. The way the login works with MyGov ID is that you have a phone or a tablet that you have the MyGov ID app installed on. So it's a two-factor login, and that's why you need the separate device. So I'm not able to film this, but I've got the tablet in front of me, and I am just typing in my password because that app has timed out. Okay, so you want to get into the app before you do this bit on the web browser, and then you log in. You put your email address in there, click login. It comes up with a 4-digit number, and you have to type that number into the app. on the phone or tablet to authorize the login. Okay, I'm doing that now and clicking accept, and the web browser redirects me and I'm now logged in. Okay, I've seen some comments about people don't want to put it in their phone or things like that, and what I've done is I've actually just got a Wi-Fi tablet. It's a bit of a cheapy one. It was just $70, and I use it for the BASOF security token codes, as well as this MyGovID login, and it's just essential now to have this kind of a device. Most people have a smartphone. Downside is that they often get dropped and broken or lost and things like that. So yeah. Anyway, once you've logged in, there's this option here, the second one, which includes machine credentials. So you want to go to that one, and I've got a few different businesses. I want to get the machine credential for this one, so I'm going to select that. I think if you just got one business, then it's going to just take you straight to that page. You won't have to select what business you're using. And this is my business, BASOF. BASOF is the I guess the premium version of our software, so it's a pretty low cost, but it's not free, and it's got some of the features, or got a lot of features that Free Accounting Software Desktop doesn't have. So Free Accounting Software Desktop is designed to be simple and easy to use, and BASOF has got I think is also pretty simple to use, but it's got more features like inventory and some extra payroll things, like leave entitlements. So, yep. Anyway, now once you've selected your business, the thing here is the Manage Credentials tab. So you go to that, and I think this is where you'll get prompted to install the browser extension. Okay, so to download your machine credential, you need to install a web browser extension, also called add-on or plugins, whatever. You need to install that, and there'd be a link over here if you hadn't got it installed. Now I have it installed, and there are some guides in the part of the ATO guide is how to install this browser extension. So in this section it says installing a browser extension, Windows, Mac, Linux, and it's got a guide on how to do that. I guess you just follow the guide. One trap, I think, is once you've installed it, you need to restart your web browser. You'll get a tiny little alert that says you've got a new add-on, and you need to enable the add-on. So there's a bit of a trap that the add-on needs to be enabled. So I'll just click on this menu and click on add-ons, and this is the enabled add-on here, ATOBE. I think it stands for ATO Browser Extension, and yeah, if it's disabled you'll need to enable it, otherwise it just won't work. Okay, so back to here, we've got machine credentials, no credentials found. So I'm going to create one, and I guess I just click this button, create machine credential. Okay, so this is a pretty simple page. It's only got about 4 things to fill in. The first one is the file name, password, credential name, and then download. So the same as the OS key is stored in a file on your computer. Okay, and this is the default file. In fact, I think the default is just this file path with just key store. But I've already got one, so I guess it's
putting -new on the end. If you're on Windows, I think you'll get something like the C:\/ kind of thing. I'm on Linux, so I've got this. This is the format of the file paths on Linux. Okay, so pretty simple. That's where you're going to save the file. Okay. Next one is your password, and I'm just going to type in a password. And second, typing it just to confirm that. Okay, now this is probably a little bit confusing, this credential name. Basically just give it a name. The hint here is enter a device name, e.g. IP address or server name. I think most people are just using desktop software, probably don't even know what that is, or don't have an IP address or server name to give it. So just choose a name that makes sense to you. The example I saw on the ATO video didn't have spaces, so I don't know if that's an issue. I'm just going to type it in without spaces anyway. Okay, so the fourth box is grayed out anyway, and it's just your name. This last tick box, I guess, this is actually important to understand. You're downloading this credential that enables lodgement to the ATO. You need to safeguard it and make sure it's secure, and gets used only by yourself, I guess, in most cases, or on behalf of the business. So, okay, anyway, let's click this download button and see how we go. Okay, so that was really quick. The new credential FAS off was successfully installed on this device. Excellent. Alright, so well, that was it. So now the next stage, so I guess, oh, there we go, look, it's listed there. I've got the credential in the list. You could have more than one if you were installing them on different computers, I guess. I guess it's rare to need more than one, or it could be different people doing the lodges on different computers or something. Anyway, our next step is now how do we use this or make that credential appear in free accounting software. So I'm just going to switch to free accounting software, and this is the new version that I haven't yet released as of the 7th of February. So it looks similar, but there's a couple little differences to the version that's out there. First, well, the big difference is I've removed the menu. Okay, so the file menu with the file and transactions entry and setup is gone, and I've reverted back to this what I call navigation bar, similar to website breadcrumbs that I've used on the website for years and years. And actually, I felt like when I went to desktop software I should use the sort of traditional file menu. However, I've found that it wasn't really that good. This structure actually enables us to use replaces three levels in the normal user interface, which is the file menu, which is that menu bar. Underneath the heading. Okay, so in this case the text menu is not linked. These other blue ones are linked, so that's the page I'm on, so that's the heading, and it also functions a little bit like tabs. So if I can click through to the My Business Details page and then click back to the menu, you sort of see what I mean. It's just sort of like flicking between different tabs. So where we had a thing like a sales invoice, and we'd enter the invoice on a page, and then we'd want to have another, not a separate page, but it's just something, an extra tab where you could fill in an email and then email it off. you rather than loading a separate page, you just have it on a different tab. This function's the same, but it saves the level of the tab. So instead of having the menu and then a heading and then the tab, and then by the time you get to any content, you're sort of down to here. We've got all that compressed up to there, which and the other thing is that it guides you as to where you might want to go. Okay, so although you're on the menu, you've got this option for My Business Details, which is a lower level kind of option to drill down to. On the left, there's this option here, which is just sort of standard type setup options, so that you can always get to no matter what page you're on. And I guess the one we want to go to is the configuration options. Okay, now this is still called OzKey. I need to rename that and call it Machine to Machine Credential, or just Machine Credential, I think they're calling it. And I've got this this file in here that I've been using, but I want to change that to the one I've just downloaded. So you can click Choose OzKey File. Let me just cancel that. I'll just type it in. You can also type it in. Oh, in fact, I've forgotten what it was. I'll have to select it. Where is it? Oh. Okay, so selecting the file was keystore.-new. I'll have to give it a better name than that, and click Save Configuration. Okay, having done that, I'll go and open a file. Another improvement of the software is that I'm creating a downloads folder and putting all the files in there, as well as bringing in the online files from basoff.com.au. So there's going to be a list of all your different businesses. This is just some test data here. It's not looking that sensible, but should be your business name here. And so that if you've got several different businesses, you can just select them from within the software. So I'll just select that one, go to the menu, and let's have a look at the OzKey on this activity statement lodgement page. So this is where it would list your activity statements. There's none that have been listed yet, and here's where you select your OzKey, or in fact I'll have to rename all of these things to Machine Credential, and there you have it. So there's only one credential in that key store, which is called Basoff. There's a space null, don't know why, but anyway, you just use it as per normal. So people are probably familiar with selecting their OzKey in that box there, and then type in their OzKey password. You type your if you want to do the activity statement list, you type your machine credential password that we just set up on the actual page where we downloaded it, and click, in this case, download and pre-fill all, and it would go away and get all your activity statements. So, you know, in terms of using the software, it's exactly the same as previously. I think it's a little bit better because rather than the Oz key being in this hidden location on your computer, you're actually choosing where you want to save it, and that helps you safeguard it a bit, as well as as know where it is, so that you can set up the configuration in the software a bit better. Yeah, but you don't need to like use your phone or Wi-Fi tablet to do any lodges. You don't need to use the MyGov ID in free accounting software. You just use this machine-to-machine credential, and that so it essentially works just like it used to. Anyway, so I hope that explains it for people, and allays any fears that people might have about it. It's going to be pretty easy to switch, and we've got a month and 3 weeks to do it, so I think we'll be right. And I will hopefully release this new version of the software perhaps sort of end of next week, or if not the week after. Okay, so anyway, I hope this video has been useful to you, and thank you for watching.